The Writer's Dossier Podcast is a proud member of the Authors on the Air Global Radio Network.
I'm Stacie Grey, and this is my Writer's Dossier.
No writers were harmed in the production of this podcast.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining the Writer's Dossier, the podcast here. I'm in the podcast studio, writer's room, and occasional speakies, but we also read here, and I'm joined by my steady co-host, Mindy Carlson, author of this book, Her Dying Day. Yes, that is a Mindy Carlson bookmark in there. So, Mindy, thanks for joining us, and your cat in the background.
My cat Albus. But no, I couldn't miss it. Stacie Grey and I are agents, siblings. We've been friends for many years. And so when you said you were interviewing her, I couldn't turn down the chance to come in and ask my own questions and really find out what she thinks of me.
Don't be coy. Stacie Grey, thank you for joining the Writer's Dossier today.
Thanks so much for having me.
And Mindy, I mean, credit where credit is due. That's one thing we do here at the Dossier. We do a lot of things here at the Dossier. One thing is, this was your call. You landed this booking. We're lucky enough to have Stacie here today because of your guys' relationship and your friendship and all of that good writing stuff. So everyone who's joining us, be sure to go to YouTube at Jeff Circle. You can look at the video that we have. You can see everyone's glorious faces, the covers of the books here. And Stacie, what book do you have for us today?
I have She Didn't Stand a Chance. It's my upcoming thriller that will be out just under a month from today on August 12th. It's the short version is it's like Succession if the dad was killed and a fifth kid showed up to solve it.
Oh, all right. Podcast is over because people are just going to stop listening and go pre-order that right now because one, that's a fantastic hook. It's a great comp. And two, that cover is gorgeous. So
Love
folks, go ahead and
I have
take
nothing
a
to
look.
do with it, so I feel like I can praise it to the skies.
I love it. It fits like right in with the family with your other book she left. Like the colors are very similar.
Right there up on the screen. I love it. And you didn't have anything to do with that one either, did you, Stacie?
No, actually, all of my comments have been architectural. The original She Left cover, the house was made of stone, and it said in the California, in the Sierras in California, and you don't make houses out of stone there because earthquakes.
They'll break.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, we jump right into it here at the Writer's Dossier Podcast because we appreciate your time, Stacie and Mindy, and the listener or the viewer. And so thank you. We get right into it so you have time to listen to this episode on your commute. But please be sure to share, press the subscribe, like, share, bells and buttons. Get this episode out there because we want people to get to know Stacie Grey or Daisy Bateman. We won't get into that right away, but some people may know her. But we're talking Stacie Grey books here today, folks. And I want everyone to go to Stacie's website. Stacie, what's your website? How can people get to know you and connect with you?
It is staciegray.com. And if you go there, you can sign up for my newsletter, which is sent extremely infrequently, but there might be one coming. At some point, I've got to send one out soon for my launch events.
A newsletter in months, and it's Stacie, STACIEGREY, Stacie Grey, that way. Mindy, when's the last time you did a newsletter?
Well, I just did a blog post at the beginning of the month, and I do a newsletter around the 15th of every month. I'm sort of late.
You're so
on
studious.
my newsletter.
I seriously, I don't think I've done a newsletter since I started this podcast. I'll do one. But
so I wish that Stacie, I wish you would send out a newsletter more often, because when you send out your newsletters, there's always like your cheese of the month on there.
Yeah, I've sort of moved away from that. I keep meaning to put that stuff on Substack, but I'm even worse at Substacking than I am at newslettering. So.
I mean, it is just another newsletter format. So I feel like if you go with one, you're good.
Yeah.
But
is there a Wisconsin connection here? Or what's the deal with cheese? I told you, I warned you, we're going off the rails. Cheese, talk to me.
Well, that actually relates to what we talked about before. Not to skip ahead, but I used to write cozy mysteries, and cheese played a part in that. So I I just really like cheese.
I'm also
Well,
given to
so at
understand that
Left Coast-
pizza and cats play a big part in cozies. But
Well, so
Mindy,
at
go
Left
ahead.
Coast Crime, Stacie is actually pretty famous, well, as Daisy, for having a cheese tasting at Left Coast Crime. They have, if you ever go to Left Coast Crime, they have author and fan interactions there, and Stacie does a cheese tasting.
I
Mindy,
do, and I'm looking good.
You didn't take me. We were in Left Coast.
No.
We were at Left Coast Crime this year together. We hung out. We went out after. No cheese for me.
This one,
What's up?
unfortunately, I missed Denver. There was a family medical problem, but next year is in San Francisco. It's my home. I live just across the bay, so it is going to be. I'm going to go to my local cheese store. It's going to be an epic cheese tasting in San Francisco. So everybody go sign up for Left Coast Crime.
Epic. Yes, please go to Left Coast Crime. This is my first one this year. I had a blast. Mindy, it was a ball. It was great to see you and Tony Wirt and Rob Hart and all the gang. It was so fantastic.
Powell.
Jason, yeah, that's where I met Jason Powell. So she didn't stand a chance.
She didn't stand a chance. I had the benefit of being able to read this on NetGalley, and I brought it. It was the only book I brought on a weekend away, and I finished it in one night. So
Whoa.
I had to go to the bookstore and buy a different book. I thought she left, but so it was so addicting. Heather Chavez called it atmospheric, and it really is, because it's set in Palm Springs in this, very Palm Springs mid-century mod house. And I wanted to know how you achieve that kind of an atmospheric feeling, but it didn't feel heavy-handed at all. It was very deft.
So part of what I did, it was research actually after BoucherCon 2 years ago now, that San Diego BoucherCon, I actually added a little bit of time on and went to Palm Springs. So that would be early September, which is the same time as the book is set, and just sort of experienced the intense heat of early September in the desert. And I think that is, I've certainly been in deserts in hot places, but to go there with it in mind, for that feeling of the environment, I think is important to get. And also things like, I didn't realize they had cicadas in Palm Springs. They do.
They do.
And they were out and about when I was there, and everything sounded like an electrical fault. And I thought, well, that's some interesting local color. Or sound.
Very much so. So you've transitioned from cozies to thrillers. Was it a big jump for you? Because it doesn't feel like it. She Left was your first book into thrillers, and then She Didn't Stand a Chance is your second one. And you're able to really ratchet up the tension and make it very nail-bitey, page-turny. How was that a big leap? Was there any struggle at all? Because it certainly doesn't feel like it reading your writing.
There's definitely some work has to go into it. Yeah, I still have some cozy tendencies that I need to edit out. Or I get a lot of notes like, maybe not this joke right here. As your cat walks behind you, I had to take a cat out of She Didn't Stand a Chance, but I put three into the next book, and they're plot critical. So
wait. You had to take a cat out of the book?
I had to take a cat out. This book suffered a catectomy. The cat was not. The cat was too cozy. It was merely providing some kind of comic cat moments, and did not relate. So the cat didn't die. The cat simply ceased to exist. We are now in a parallel universe where the cat never lived.
I should have worn my Schrodinger's cat t-shirt.
That's right.
I need a cat.
I actually wrote a short story about Schrodinger's cat lady once upon a time under yet another name.
Oh, that's hilarious. So, okay, what is it? You have to Schrodinger's cat lady.
Well, that was the name of the story. I wrote it under my original real name, which was Marjorie James, and it was on actually a podcast, Escape Pod. I think they're still around. They do speculative short fiction. And Schrodinger's cat lady it's a very powerful interdimensional being who rescues the cats from the thought experiments. Because I always felt bad for those cats.
Yeah.
So just so you know, there's an incredibly powerful being out there rescuing the cats, so none of them die in the thought experiments.
That's hilarious.
Whoever that person is, they need to come and get Piehole. Piehole lives here in the basement. She was rescued from the back door when she came in the house. Been here for 8 years. Still gotta go.
That's hilarious.
Sorry.
So these books are written in third person. So we're part of a What's Up chat, and we were recently discussing the benefits of first person versus third person, but you were not on that chat. you had skipped it because you're probably writing and not procrastinating like the rest of us. So what benefits do you see? So she left and she didn't stand a chance of third person versus first person. So why do you choose to write in third person?
Actually, interestingly, I started She Left in first person. I wrote probably, 10,000 words or so in first. And then I actually ran it past our lovely agent, and she thought, well, that maybe third would feel bigger, sort of, in a way. And I think it does. I like first person. It has that immediacy, but I think third has, I don't know, you're pulling the camera back a bit so you can get more of something. I write in fairly close third, so it's not super different, but you still get some kind of externality things on the main character that you wouldn't necessarily get in first. And it's almost, as the children say, a vibe, more than a specific technical difference. Sometimes you just try it in first and you try it in third and see which one feels better. Not second. Second is cursed.
I've read one book in second person, and that it was a mind trip for sure.
Yeah.
Well, shout out
anything other
to
than
your
to choose your own adventure. I take a lot of convincing to read second person.
Yeah, well,
shout
we'll
out
talk
to your
about that
super
later.
agent, V. Saul there, Lark. Words for helping you out there.
Yeah, no, I think it was the right call. The book came together better once I moved it into third, and then third just started to feel more natural for this style of book.
Yeah, it is interesting. Sometimes for first person, I feel like there are different choke points where, like, she can't possibly know this. This is information that the reader has to know, but my main character can't possibly know this. Do you feel like third person helps alleviate that issue?
Not really, because I write in close third. I do tend to put other than, like in She Left, there is a segment from each other character's perspective, and She Didn't Stand a Chance. There's a lot of, I was calling it ephemera, chat transcripts, emails. So those are, and actually there are sections from the victim's perspective, kind of counting down to his murder. I try not to put any key clues in that, because I feel like the main character needs to have all of the information in order to solve the mystery. So mostly what those serve to do is to kind of fill out the reader's knowledge of the characters and the situation, to give kind of a richer world for them to read, but not, they don't directly necessarily move the plot. You can understand better why some characters are doing things later in the book by reading from their perspective in their sections, but I'm not revealing anything that the main character needs to know in order to reach the resolution.
Interesting. So when you wrote the sections from the victim's point of view, the father that dies, did you write all of those sections together at one time to sort of keep the voice and sort of streamline the timeline, or did you write the whole book sort of chronologically and sort of pepper in those things as you were writing Marjorie's perspective?
Gertie,
Oh, no,
I think
not Marjorie.
Marjorie is me. That's the third me.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I wouldn't
I feel
have
like
called
I'm
it
in a
Gertie.
police lineup here.
Another name.
I was staring right at you. No, Gertie's
And so
perspective.
actually, well, that one was a little different because I wrote those sections after I had written the whole book, and I wanted to get a little bit of the point of view of the victim in there. And actually, I changed two of them pretty significantly in a later draft. I had completely different sections for the middle two. There's four from the victim's point of view, and I completely changed the two middle ones just because what I'd originally written, I didn't really have enough tension. So that one, yeah, I did write them closer together in time then, but with the POV sections in She Left, I wrote them within the book.
It was really interesting because even though they're third person, you do manage to change I don't know, like the voiciness, the internal voiciness for each character. Is that a difficult thing to do if you're doing third person as opposed to if you're doing first person?
Because I'm always really writing third person in the voice, because it's such a close third, it really is kind of being narrated by the main character or by the character who is narrating that section. So it does help to write those once I've gotten to know those characters a little bit. And actually, when I do that, it helps me to get to know the characters, writing
Well, I
things
was just
from
going
their
to
point of
ask.
view.
I was just going to ask, how much background information then are you doing to be able to fully know each of these characters, to be able to, write it third person yet with their kind of flavor?
Not too much. I don't build up big backgrounds for my minor characters. I generally start with something pretty sketchy, and then as I'm going along and writing, I get to know them a little better, and then it'll come out in further drafts where I will kind of refine the characters and have a better idea of who each person is.
I mean, you don't write a 4-generation family tree like I just did.
I mean, if you're doing a big complicated family saga, you need to do that. But no,
No,
I
it is
pretty
not.
much pants it.
Well, and that's a good question. What combination? I find like there's a spectrum between discovery writer and plot writer. Where are you on the spectrum?
I've been moving towards plot through my career. So I started out pretty much strictly discovery, and I find, particularly with deadlines, I really need to have more and more figured out ahead of time. So I don't do a super detailed outline, but I will generally come up with a fairly detailed, a kind of, not like a synopsis like you'd share with anyone because it's sketchy and it's just notes and this happens and this happens. But I find it goes much more smoothly if I can plot mostly the timeline of the story, the major beats before I get started.
What was your timeline? What was your deadline like for this book between She Left and She Didn't Stand a Chance? Like, how much time did you have?
Slightly less than a year, I think. Trying to remember.
I mean, that's tight.
It is. And I'm not a very fast writer. I'm extremely lazy, and I like to go and play Candy Crush for a while I'm supposed to be writing.
With cheese.
With cheese.
With cheese.
They should make a cheese
love
version of Candy Crush. Cheese Crush.
Can you imagine the little wheels of brie?
Wedge of baby Swiss. I love it.
That'd be amazing. I'm getting really hungry.
Stacie, have you gotten to a point when you said that you were developing your character and you get to know them a little bit more as you go along? Have you ever had moments during that process where you've actually figured something out really good about a character and then gone back and added some things to that once you figured out, I can drop some breadcrumbs into this a little earlier? Have you ever done that? Or does it just build and get better and better as you go along?
Mostly the latter, though. Actually, on the book I just turned in, my next book, and had kind of a serendipitous moment there where I was writing along and I needed to add another relatively minor character, and I picked a name, and then of course I keep a sheet of all of the names I've used, and I realized, I used the name for that name for another character earlier in the book, and I thought, wait a minute, that could be the same person, and that solves a bunch of problems for me, and that makes it pretty interesting that instead of this being a completely new minor character, that this person had actually appeared earlier, and we're coming back, and it really brought stuff together. So that was maybe it was my subconscious. Maybe it was just like I only ever think of 3 names and just cycle through them.
Well, it seems like you have 3 names.
Yes. That's the problem. True. I've used all the names on myself. There's nothing left to name my characters.
I'm going to name somebody Mindy.
I dare you.
Mindy's got names. You've got 2 names.
I do have 2 names. Well, I mean, but like one's my birth name, and then Mindy is just what everybody called me. Well, I actually have 3 names.
It's a more normal nickname, I guess.
It is. My name at birth is Melinda. I was named after a nun.
And we're going to end the podcast at that.
Right. But everybody called me Mindy, and then my high school friends called me Mel.
I have a friend named Melanie, and we call her Mel. So yeah. Cool.
Well, they called me Mel, but my name is spelled with an A, so Mal, which means bad.
Mal something. Maladjusted.
That's right.
Yeah, so there you go. Everybody, I hope you're watching on YouTube because this is just turned into a riot. Stacie Grey, STACIEGREY.com. That's where everybody needs to go. And what's the best top social media platform that people can go out and find you at if they really want to follow along with this book and the next one that's coming? Where can we find you best?
Let's say Instagram. That's where I most reliably put news. I hang out a lot on Threads, but then I mostly just comment on people's stuff. So and Blue Sky.
When's your next book come out? You said you just turned it in. When's the next book come out?
Just about a year from now, next July. Should be.
Okay. So people have plenty of time.
Had enough.
Yeah.
She left. So she didn't stand a chance, and now she had enough.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So people have plenty of time right now to go out and get She Didn't Stand a Chance. You said it comes out on August 12th?
12th, yes.
August 12th,
just in time
folks.
for right before my birthday.
Well, there's a nice present for you. Stacie planned it that way. She pulled some strings with
she's a good friend.
With Poison Pen Press. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Stacie, thank you for spending this time with us, and our lovely co-host Mindy Carlson. You're always the best.
Hey, Mindy.
So thank you. Everybody, be sure to go out and again share this episode and go get to know Stacie Grey, and don't forget, if you haven't, Her Dying Day by Mindy Carlson or Mel or Melinda, whatever you want to call her, she will answer and she will sign your book any way you want. There you go. I love it. Hey, let's hold those up one more time, all three of us. There we go. That'll be a nice shot. All right. Everybody, thanks for joining us in this episode of The Writer's Dossier, and we will see you next time. See ya. Bye everybody.
Thank you.
The Dossier Podcast is a production of the Idea Academy.